Morning Shabbat. Today is Gimel Tammuz, 32nd yard site of the Rebbe. Very special day, very solemn day, an important day of introspection and inspiration. And of course, as we mentioned last night, we try to give the Rebbe nachas by adding and learning and davening and in giving tzedakah, doing mitzvahs as much as we possibly can. We're going to learn the daily Tanya, and then we're going to chazer, review a snippet of the Maimer from the Atat Tzava Maimer that we learned last night. We are on page 71 as we begin a new chapter, Perek Yud Aleph, chapter 11 of Shar HaYichud VeEmunah. First, a quick overview. The divine creative energy is termed utterance. That's what we call it. It's not real speech, but just as speech reveals that which was previously hidden. You're thinking something, you want everyone to know what you're thinking, you got to say it. And its articulation is its revelation. Similarly, when it comes to creation, the creative force originating within godliness is articulated, quote unquote, producing creation. So the Alter Rebbe explained in the previous chapter that the spheres, the divine attributes, and Hashem's wisdom and will are designated by the respective names only in relation to the creation. From Hashem's perspective, everything is only one. Since these attributes are united with Hashem in perfect unity, they are not identifiable by any names whatsoever when considered relative to Hashem. In this, they correspond to, like we gave the mashal of the sunlight within the sun. It's not sunlight. You don't look up at the sun and say, oh, there's sunlight. You say, there's the sun. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain that not only are the attributes and spheres called by the respective names in relation to created beings alone, but even the 10 ma'amaris, the 10 utterances through which the attributes became manifest, thereby bringing created beings into existence and providing them with life, are also called utterances, but only in relation to created beings. They are not so, however, in relation to Hashem. With Hashem, everything is united. Hashem echad in perfect unity. V'hinei, page 72, v'hinei gam asar ma'amaris. Gam ke nikro b'shem ma'amaris l'gabe hanevreim b'levad. The 10 utterances are also designated utterances only in relation to created beings, as we just said. Since this is a term that relates to revelation, as shall be explained. Ki kemoy shamidas sheben nishmas ha'adam. Just as the emotive attributes of the human soul, the neshama, when they surface in order to be revealed in a corresponding action, they appear clothed in letters of thought. A lot of times, do you ever think of something and you're spelling it out in your mind? Benson, you know what I'm talking about, right? So you're thinking letters. When you're speaking quickly, you're not thinking letters so much. When you're trying to think of something, sometimes it comes to you, and people say you think in certain languages, right? Even if you speak Hebrew, you don't speak Hebrew that well. You're thinking in English and you're translating it. So you're thinking in letters. So these, they're enclosed in letters of thought, and so do the attributes of Hashem. Midas chesed v'rachmim shebeneshama ef shalav l'idei skalos b'poel mamish imaidei shemechashev b'daitei meharer ma'asiyat tzedakah v'chesed la'aseis b'poel mamish. For example, the neshama's attribute of kindness and mercy cannot be revealed or find expression in actual deed unless one first thinks about it and contemplates doing an act of kindness and charity. You can't it doesn't just happen automatically. It's funny, if you're falling down, you'll put your hands in front of you. It's like what do they call it? Instinctual reaction. Certain things are instinctual, but it's not instinct to just pull money in your pocket and give it to somebody. Or you think, okay, I got to give tzedakah today. Hang on, you give the tzedakah, and then you give the coins out to your friends, your kids. They're like, oh, I gave it already. You thought about it. Something that you have to prepare for. And so too, acts of kindness hopefully become second nature. But usually you have to think about it first. What am I going to do to help this person? How can I help them? By the way, sometimes if you help somebody without thought, it doesn't come out right either. You're helping them, but sometimes in a way that he doesn't want, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. You have to think, how can I help the person in ways that he needs help? Not the way things that make me feel better about what I'm doing. Okay, but that's a separate story. If a person, like a king, commands others to perform acts of kindness, and the attribute of kindness, and with it the letters of thought are garbed in the letters of speech. This is also the case when one speaks words of kindness and compassion to his friend. Instead of saying, "Hey, good morning," say, "How are you? How was your day? How's everything going?" So it's through the letters of thought or letters of speech that the soul's faculties and attributes become revealed. So figuratively speaking, very important, obviously, it's not the same thing, but we try to correlate to the way the Eibishter works. So when the motive attributes of Hashem reach the level at which their activity is to be revealed in the lower worlds, then Nikra Gilui Zev Hamshachas Ula Zoi B'Shem Maimer V'Tzeir Faisius. So we call them, again, this revelation and the flow of this action are called an utterance and a combination of letters. Push it up and drop, it'll stop making those. That's it. The lead, Sirufim, and Ikram Shem Oisiyos. There could be no action proceeding from Hashem, from His holy emotive attributes, without the intermediacy of the combination which are called letters. So action can result or be revealed from Hashem's emotive attributes only when a number of particular powers combine to produce this revelation. As we discussed, even with every single creation, there are these combinations of letters that bring the whatever it is into existence, including a little rock, a stone, Evan. So now he's going to give another example. Yesterday we talked about that Hashem said these words, thought them b'machshava, and then light came about on the first day. For instance, the creation of light from the attribute of chesed, kindness, there issued from it a flow of action and power with which to produce and create that light. Why is light chesed? How would the world be if it was dark all the time? Light, right? If there was only darkness, we'd find a way to say that was also kindness. But there would be a lot of things different. But okay. Thank you. We mentioned this yesterday. That the flow of this power of light and the life force is called by the name of the utterance and combination of letters that constitute from the Torah that says, let there be light. Even though they're not actual letters of thought, like letters in our own head. Again, we're making an analogy, and we discussed this at great length earlier in the week about how every analogy when it comes to comparing Hashem to something else has plenty of holes in it. But this is the analogy that's brought down. Nevertheless, they're similar to our letters of thought that are a phenomenon which indicates the bringing into existence of light from nothing, meaning they're a particular power that creates light. So, for example, if you want to do something, this is the whole idea of Chachma Bina Das. If you want to do something, Benson, you want to get married. So you think, okay, what am I going to do? Oh, I got to find a partner. I got to find myself a wife. And you go and you search and you find. And then, now we have to plan the wedding. So all these things start with an idea. And then you go through the idea, okay, I'm going to have a wedding. And then you count down every single day. And then when the Chas and Kala stand under the chuppah, and then there's Yichud, so then that's Das. Adam Yadas Chava, perfect example. So with us, there has to be that entire idea. When it comes to the Eibishter, it all happens simultaneously. It's not the same thing, but we're trying to have a connection here. Shalachein nivra ha'or v'machshava zeh v'loy nivru memenu dvarim achirim shebenivro shenivru gam kem midas chesed or mayim chiyetz behem. So light, when it comes to light, remember we were also saying that spiritual light and physical light are two different things, but we're talking about physical light now. So light was created from this flow of power, and not other things, which are also created from the attribute of chesed, such as water and the like. Thus, the combination of letters is such that the divine power specifically creates light, and therefore it's called utterance, which says "Yihor." So we call it an utterance, as if it comes out. And this self-same attribute of kindness could also create other things, like water. We need water in order to live. Water is a sign of blessing. So Benson, if there's a few drops today, it's a good thing. It'll clear up by the chuppah mitzvah. Can you tell him that? Because in them, the attributes were clothed powers from other combinations, which indicate the bringing into existence of water and the like. And it comes out, all life forces and powers, and it comes out that all the life forces and powers which issue from Hashem's holy emotive attributes to the lower worlds to create them something from nothing and to give them life, we call them Oisius Akdoishes, holy letters. Shehein Bechinas Hamshachas Achayis Beretzene V'Chachmas Mideisav is Lishavos Oilamos Lechayosam. These are the flow of the life force with from Hashem's will and from Hashem's wisdom and from all the emotive attributes, Chesed and Rachamim and Gvura, to bring worlds into being and give them life. And these worlds that are created by the letters are two kinds. Almin Simin, Deloy Scallion, there are hidden worlds that are not revealed to us. Haim, Hamisavim, Vechayim, Vekaimom, Koichais, Hamshachais Nelamais, Kemoi, Oises, Amachshava, Shebenishmas, Adam, Aderech Mashal. These worlds which come into existence and live and are sustained by concealed powers and life forces, like, for example, you have a neshama, you don't see it. You don't see your neshama. A person can say, I don't have a soul. What soul? Show me the soul. Can't see it, it's hidden. So there are some worlds that the soul of that world is hidden. But Olmin, Biskalion, Levi, why don't you leave your hand jacket here? So that later it's here, because I'm not going to. Olmin, Biskalion, Nivru, V'chayim, Miskalos, Sheniskalo, Koiches, V'amshachais, and the Lamois, and the Krois, V'shem, Oisis, Amachshava, the worlds which were created and live from the revelation of the hidden powers and life forces called letters of thought. These are revealed worlds. So our world is a world where we can't see the soul, we can't see godliness and everything. But there are upper worlds that you can. I'm guessing Atzilus, right? Everything is revealed godliness there. They're called utterances and the word of Hashem and the breath of his mouth. Chaim, one more line. Like, for example, the letters of man's speech, which reveal to the listeners that which was concealed and hidden in his heart. Likewise, the divine letters of speech, quote unquote, are revelation of the force that grants existence and infuses life into those created beings that are of the category of worlds revealed. What's the takeaway? The takeaway is words are methods of expression. You express what's on your mind with words. Say, good morning, I love you. These things express what you're feeling. We're therefore taught that the creation took place through the utterances, through the divine utterances. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but that's why we use that word. Human imagery for a form of divine expression, which is creation. Okay, that's it for the Tanya of the day.